Hello. So, welcome, loves, to Living in Flow. Today, we're going to just share some stories. And we've talked in the last couple of these lives, the first one and the second one, this is the third, about why we could be living in flow right now, ways to make life easier by living in flow right now. So, we're going to kind of just roll on with that theme. And I'm going to share some stories of how people have been living in flow. So in the last month, there have been some crazy things happening, and people in leadership positions have stepped up in various ways. And one of those ways has been unconsciously living in flow and running their businesses in flow. And I've seen it now a few times. So I thought I would recount some of these stories, whether they're consciously or unconsciously. I still love to see it. So one of the examples is I have a friend in business who I know what phase of the cycle she is in. I know what phase everyone is in for various reasons, whether they're clients or they're in my Facebook group and they post what they're in, or sometimes they just share with me what phase they're in, and that's great. So I know she's around follicular and ovulation. And right when all of the craziness was hitting the fan, I saw her in that very high energy time of the cycle, reaching out, asking her community what they needed, how she could help, all of these good things. So it was a real cool reaching out, building community connection, very extroverted energy process. And then I saw, so also at the beginning of kind of the craziness, I saw some of my friends and leaders who are in more of their luteal and menstrual phases doing things like sharing how to processing emotion themselves, sharing how they were working through things, what kind of tools that they were using in order to help deal and process with their emotional and anxiety, these kinds of things. And then, as the month continued and the craziness did not stop, but only became more so, I watched them just flip. So the women who had started off in that follicular and ovulation, that extroverted energy, were now starting to talk more about their energy processing tools. You know, I'm doing EFT, I'm journaling, I've got a bullet journal, I'm doing these things to help process the emotion. And then I saw people who had spent the last week or 2 weeks in their luteal phase, in their menstrual phase, processing, coming out of it and going, okay, community, what do you need? What do you want? How can we do this? And it just showed me how clearly women were using their cycles unconsciously to start really processing and leading in flow. And how incredible and powerful this could have been had they known what phase they were in, what they were doing, and how to use those tools for themselves. So one of the things is that we are doing it unconsciously, subconsciously with flow, but we're also doing it in a way that if we were embracing our cycle and using it to our advantage, we could be doing even better. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Oh, hi, Dora. I just wanted to share this with you so that you could see how, and look at the people around you. Look at the women that are leaders in your communities. If you yourself are a leader, look back at your last month and your last cycle and see what kind of activities you were doing during what part of your cycle you were in, because I can see those changes and those shifts happening. And this last month has been really fascinating for me. Just watching and seeing people react in flow with their cycles bit by bit. And I just wish I could sit down with every single one of them and explain, you know, this is where you are in your cycle and that's why this is happening. And if you embraced it, right? We talked about running towards your body in the last live. So if you embrace the radical solution of running towards your body, you could be really using this information so that you could be progressively processing and creating, and it's not even necessarily about doing more things, because that's not in flow. Flow is not about doing more. Flow is about doing the same amount but easier, better, quicker, it gives you more time to do whatever it is you need to do, which in these cases are spend time with family, process, veg out, watch 3 movies in a row, a series, whatever. Like, you need that escape time. You need that, I've been playing a lot of cards, Spite and Malice with the boyfriend. We've got what do we call it? A lockdown domino tournament happening. So we're keeping our domino scorecards. We've been doing a lot of just sitting at the kitchen table and playing and enjoying the time because it's an escape, right? It's a way of processing and removing and staying off of the news and staying off of the fear and out of the anxiety and the crazy. But as we're using flow to work through all of this stuff, we can be using it to run our businesses. We can be using it to help our personal lives. We can be using it to help process because it's built in to do that. And I see women doing it out of absolute instinct right now. And I just keep thinking to myself, God, how much better could it be if this wasn't just instinct, but this was really learned, honed craft, if we were living in this. Right? We grow up from point A to point B in our lives, learning how to ignore and avoid and repress and shame so that it's overriding this instinct. But now that we don't have those societal patriarchal constructs, our instincts are kicking in and our instincts are in flow, and it is glorious to watch. So when you're moving through flow, something to keep in mind as a leader or a business, you are a leader in your home. If you're watching this, you have the ability to create the culture in your house, and you have the ability to increase or decrease the tension, anxiety. You can make it more of a fun and engaging time or not, and you have that ability. So think about it as follicular and ovulation as your extroverted time where you can build community, and your luteal and menstrual phase as time to turn within and process, right? Use the tools, whatever those are for you. Journaling, EFT, meditation, Tai Chi are my top ones. Use ones that work for you. And if you want suggestions, my Facebook group is full of people who have amazing ideas and suggestions on these kinds of things. In the next 5 lives, I'm going to go by each phase, and I'm going to share with you bullet points, essentially, of each phase of your cycle. So what does menstruation look like? What does follicular look like? Ovulation, luteal, deep luteal. So we're going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to read some bits out of my book. So if you have it, you can read along with us. If you don't have it, free preview. But we're going to work through those 5 phases of the cycle. There's 4 phases, but I break luteal into 2, and you'll find out why in that live. But I'm going to go through them. They'll all be under 10 minutes, I promise. All of these videos in the series are under 10 minutes, and they're all going onto my YouTube playlist. If you don't have a copy of the book, you're welcome to grab a digital version on theperiodcoach.com/revolution. And if you don't have a chart, please grab one. They are free and on my website. I will put the link in the comments, theperiodcoach.com as well. But please grab a chart and start playing along at home. And if you need anything, as always, comment. I will answer. I am here to help you. This month is all about education in flow. So come on in and let's do this. All right. I love you guys. Mwah. I'll see you back here tomorrow. 5 p.m. Pacific is my hope. And I'll see you then. Mwah. Bye, guys.